Part 2 of the problem. Part 1 down below. Will OP become the plan B? Let's find out. I guess the hardest thing for me since our talk yesterday is that she doesn't seem to be hurting at all with the fact that our marriage is basically over. I'm guessing because she started this process of letting go of our marriage long ago, so she's past that stage. I don't know. Last night I had a great night. Went to my parents' house for a BBQ after work and had a couple drinks and was feeling decent with all of this. I was able to vent to them about our talk and just say whatever was on my mind. I know I'm now in the stage where I need to take steps forward for me, but it's so freaking scary. I don't know what single me looks like. I haven't been single in over 10 years. Almost all of my friends are in relationships or married. Who am I going to hang out with? How will I find someone again, and will I ever feel like I want to find someone again? The fear of being alone for the rest of my life is killing me. Also, part of me wishes she was almost done with med school so she could just leave already to whatever country she sees fit. Get out of here so I can move on and not worry about bumping into her from time to time. I've been trying to golf more. Wasn't able to do much of that while we were married because I was busy doing things around the house while she was in school. I have a good group of buddies, but only a couple are single and all they want to do is go out drinking, which is fine once in a while, but not all the time. People keep saying that I'm still young and I'll find somebody, but I'm going to be 32 years old this year, and it's hard to think about how I will ever meet someone again that I can truly connect with. It kills me at work and around friends when I hear them talk about their family or significant others. It's like being around happy people right now is hurting me cause I'm jealous and just want to be happy again. I've been through depression in the past when I was younger. Don't want to get into why. But I got past that, and now I feel like this depression I'm in is worse, and being almost 32 years old, it makes me feel like I'm weak and worthless. I know I sound pathetic and I'm on a major pity party, but it just sucks. I had a great time last night with my buddies. Now we're getting ready to golf. I'm really struggling today with the thought of how I'm going to get through the day and night tomorrow with the wedding and her being here. This really sucks. Well, I survived the wedding day, night. I saw my wife about an hour before we had to be at the venue while we were all at the resorts. She asked if I would walk her to her car to get something because she wanted to see me before the wedding so it was less awkward. We had small talk. She said I looked good in my tux, nothing much. Standing up at the wedding, it was very difficult while our friends read their vows, but I held it together. As the night went on, we had a few talks, nothing too bad and nothing too good either. At one point she says to me, "Do you know that I still love you?" Kind of hard question. I know she still loves me, but she doesn't seem to love me enough to stay married and change her mind about what she wants to do in the future after med school. We then started talking more in depth about our situation. I gave her my coat because it was getting cold. She started crying about our conversation, then said that we should probably stop the conversation because she was getting old feelings again. We then basically hung out with our friends the rest of the evening. I said goodnight to her and we went our separate ways. Although at the time the evening didn't seem too bad, I woke up feeling like crap, sort of like I took 2 steps back. Her and I both got really close to acting on old feelings last night, but neither of us pulled the trigger. I guess I'm not good enough for her anymore. She keeps telling me that she doesn't want to totally lose me and wants us to remain best friends no matter what happens. That sort of pisses me off because I cannot just go from being married to then just strictly being best friends. She made it very clear that her head is still in the spot of wanting to travel after med school and does not see herself wanting to settle down and start a family. She wants to go to lunch on a regular basis, but I do not think that is a good idea for myself. How am I supposed to get over her and move forward if I am constantly seeing her? I still love her and I am still so attracted to her, so us being around each other like last night was very, very difficult. I found myself looking around the reception hall worried that I would catch her flirting with some guy. Then I would tell myself, no, stop, I need to worry about myself, not her. She finishes med school in 3 years. As far as details about her plans, she wants to literally graduate and move to another country via a school program to start her career as a doctor. This may seem cold, but that is not the future I want. I want a woman who loves me for me and wants to start a family. I've worked my back off for years to get where I am and to support her while she finds herself. I deserve happiness. Yes, her dream is big and she's always been the type of person to have big dreams, but in my eyes, she has never grown up and realized at some point in life you need to start acting like an adult and stop chasing every damn dream that comes your way. Literally, she went from wanting a family life 5 years ago to wanting a new adventure, or dream every other month. Another thing she was upset about during the wedding was that none of my buddies or their wives, who have been like brothers to her for many years now, have contacted her during our separation to see how she is doing. She was saying just being around all of them this weekend was hard. I think it was reminding her of what she is leaving behind since she decided to walk away from our life. The thing I am worried about is that this wedding brought back memories to her of all our friends hanging out together, and now she's going to start trying to hang out more and be around more. As for moving on, I am working on getting an appointment with a lawyer this week to at least just get some knowledge of what to expect. I don't plan on contacting her until I am ready to really make some major changes with finances, and then the next step will be divorce. She has finals this week, so I figured I wouldn't get her full attention anyway if I try to talk to her about important issues this week. I am starting to have feelings of failure and wasted years. We were together for a total of almost 11 years, married about 6. As I look back at that, I feel like it was failed years and wasted years. I mean, yeah, we had our great times, that's for sure, but was it all worth it now that I'm sitting here barely able to hang on to a normal life? I do sometimes wonder if she is using the I want to travel out of the country as BS excuse. However, I was there during orientation a couple years ago, and they do have programs where new graduates go work and gain experience in other countries with the opportunity to stay when they become established. I have been spending a lot of time with my male friends, most of whom are married or in serious relationships, but these friends have also been friends with my wife for many years, so it's weird sometimes. I would say the past year she has sort of fallen out of this group of friends due to the hours and time she spends with school. So, I know my buddies at least are on my side if you will not be sure about the females in the group. I just hope my STBX continues to concentrate on her studies and her school friend and lets me have my time and happiness with my friends that she has essentially tossed aside in recent years. I have been spending a lot of time with friends, but there are still plenty of evenings or days that I sit around the house because I feel so drained emotionally. I know this is bad, and it is something I am really working on. This week my goal is to go to the gym at least 3 times during the work week, and I am going to start packing up all the photos around the house from our wedding and any photos of the two of us. I am just tired of walking through my big empty house looking at these photos. I do not know if my wife has realized how close I am to the idea of divorce. Right now, we are separated, but she has given me no indication of reconciliation. I would think that in the back of her mind she knows that divorce is likely. That will be the next topic of conversation next time we schedule a talk. When we first married 6 years ago, we both wanted to eventually start a family. She was finishing her undergrad at the local university, as was I, and both planned normal 9-5 jobs. Then as years passed, she kept changing her major. Finally graduated and decided she wanted to go into the medical field. Yes, I agreed to this, but it took almost 3 years for her to figure out what type of medical field she wanted to get into. During these 3 years, she drastically changed her outlook on our future as far as having kids. She kept pushing it further and further out. Then med school started and she changed even more, and now we are here. I have a passion in my heart to be a father, and she knows that. This is a big aspect of guilt she has, and a big reason why our marriage is in shambles. She literally doesn't have it in her heart anymore to graduate and start a family. She wants to leave the country and help total strangers, which is fine, but yeah, she is ditching me and our marriage for that dream. I may have pressured her a little about having kids, but not very often, because it would always turn into a fight or her getting mad and making me feel guilty for bringing the subject up. I have a goal of having a serious talk with her within the next couple weeks after her finals are over, but seriously, the last 2 talks we've had given me no hope for our marriage. She is basically pushing me to the side right now so she can live her life, does not have to worry or feel guilty about her husband sitting at home taking care of everything. We have an English bulldog who has been our daughter for the past 6 years. We both have treated this dog as a human better than a human, and she has not asked about our dog once since we have been separated. This dog has been my lifeline through all of this, so I'm sort of glad she isn't asking about her or wanting to take her. She is compartmentalizing our whole life right now because she is too weak or scared to face what is really going on. I had a long talk with my neighbor last night. Him and his wife became very close to us through the years, especially me, since my wife was always busy. He is shocked about how bad this has gotten, and it was kind of emotional for me to explain the story to him. I guess it still hurts, and it is weird to say that we are looking at divorce because we've grown apart and she has changed so much. Most people who haven't been in this position seem to be surprised when I tell them why our marriage is in shambles. I think I am finally accepting what seems to be reality with my situation. 1. I am about 99% sure this turns into divorce. 2. My STBX is perfectly content on dragging this limbo separation out if she can, so she doesn't have to face the music and truly live life on her own. 3. I have a lot of growing to do emotionally and physically to get my happiness back. 4. I fought long and hard to keep our marriage together, so there is nothing more I can do to change where we are. With all that said, I am struggling to find the words to take the next step forward. I want to have a talk with her next week, but I want to make sure I say all the right things so I don't sound desperate or sound like I'm all tore up inside. Which I am. I really don't think she is prepared to hear what I have to say in regard to cutting her off financially and moving forward with the divorce process. I know she will well up the tears and play that card because she knows I am a big softie when women cry. I am scared that people will look at me as the bad guy if I file, but I can't keep living in this limbo. We lost some people at work this week, so my load has increased significantly, and I do feel I have been slacking during this separation, and it kills me. I am struggling off and on with what my future looks like. I am slowly getting my house ready to sell, and just doing things around the house to get it ready makes me sad. I do not have a plan yet as to where I will live, but I know I am always welcome at my folks' house until I get myself together. I have days, hours, minutes where I think about dating other women, then the next second, I get a knot in my stomach thinking about that. I guess my main question is, how do I approach my conversation with her in regard to moving forward without being a total jerk but also standing my ground and coming off confident, strong, and content? I spent the first 2 weeks of my separation begging my wife to come home. It only made things worse. We are approaching almost 2 months. I think she knows how I feel in regard to wanting to reconcile, but on certain terms. What good is it going to do if I beg her and cry to her every time we talk, text, or email? As far as being friends, should this go south, I'm sorry, but emotionally I cannot go from being with someone 10 years married 6 to then just being their friend. This isn't high school. This isn't a breakup from a girlfriend. It's a marriage. There is no lack of consideration either. There never has been. If you talk to anyone who even remotely knows me and my wife, they will tell you I have been a saint through the years, and even now I have yet to get upset and really unload on her about my frustrations. I know I have been plenty considerate. It's her that is not being considerate to anyone but herself. My wife and I have a scheduled talk Monday after work. I have not fully decided what exactly I want to bring up, but I do know that I want to talk about what potential, if any, she sees in us reconciling, and if there is some potential there, what she would be willing to do to make that happen. I will do anything. With that said, I also want to hear it from her that she is truly 100% committed to her plans of no kids and wanting to leave the country after med school. Because if that is her absolute 100% plan, I don't see myself in that plan. It's very sad, but I just don't. Yeah, I know it has only been about a month and a half being separated. I know that's not a long time compared to others, but it's just really hard. I think sometimes I am jumping too quickly into major decisions, but then again, I'm not ready to pull the trigger on a divorce yet. I am having a pretty rough day. Had another dream last night about my wife. Long story short, in the dream she kept telling me I let her go too easily. I know it is just a dream, but man, I woke up feeling bad. Now I am sitting here at the tire shop waiting for my truck, and one of our songs plays in the waiting area. I wish I weren't such a stupid softy and so sensitive. Last night I went to happy hour with some friends, and then a few of us came back to my house. I stayed up for a couple hours, then went to bed. They stayed up for hours drinking, which is fine, but I am not into that anymore. I had a great time last night, but of course I woke up this morning feeling depressed as usual. As I'm cleaning up my house today, I'm thinking about the past and how hard it is for me to do things on my own right now, even though months ago before the separation I was already doing things on my own because my wife was usually spending her Saturdays studying. You would think that would make it easier to cope, but it's not. My wife finished her finals yesterday and now has 2 weeks off from school until the next quarter starts. I find myself overthinking what she is doing now that she has time away from her studies. I struggled hard this morning because I wanted to call or text her, but I really didn't have a reason other than to hear her voice and try and find out what she's doing with her time. I feel like maybe I should reach out, but then again, I sit back and realize that it's always me reaching out, and it's not fair. It hurts so bad that she can just easily push our marriage to the side and do her thing because she says it's too hard for her if she allows herself to really think about our situation. She good at that. I am nervous and anxious thinking about our planned talk coming this Monday. I do not even know yet what I want to say or what I expect to get out of it. I can already see it. She will still be in the mindset of I don't know what to say or what I want yet. I cannot control what she feels or thinks, and I am not ready yet emotionally to just throw up my hands and file for divorce. I wish I could just wake up one day and feel good again and move forward. As I sit here typing, I look around my house and feel stressed and very overwhelmed at the thought of getting my house ready to sell, paying bills, and a potential life without her. We were together for a total of 10 years. That is a third of my life. I see pictures of her friends from school who are married and have kids and think to myself why it is working for them. Why do they get to be happy and live a normal life, but my marriage is falling apart? I really struggle with that lately, looking at happy couples and asking myself why they deserve it and have that, but I do not. What did I do wrong in my life to have to go through this? Big old pity party for me today. I am back and forth all the time on the weekends about what I should do with my day. Right now, I'm thinking, should I go to the gym? Should I sit on the couch and relax? Should I go hang out with friends? Should I go to my parents' house and help my dad with yard work? I am all over the place in my head. My house is a mess, but I can't get myself to spend a full day cleaning it because that was something my wife and I would do together on the weekends during our good times. I know sounds dumb, but now that I look back, that was a good memory. As for the house, we have been talking for a while now about selling it. Especially now, it's just too much of a financial burden, and it's also too far of a drive from where I work and friends and family. I want to sell it to save some money and start over fresh. I do have a busy couple weeks coming up. All my buddies are joining me on 4th of July at a big pool party my parents and their neighbors are having. The neighbors are great people and have kids around my age minus a few years. They will be there as well with their friends. I'm hoping to meet new people during this party. Then the following week I leave to go on vacation with my parents and older sister. One of my buddies might drive down for a couple nights with us, so I am looking forward to that. We will be in a beach house in Mexico, walk right out the back door and there's the ocean. I cannot wait to get there and read, listen to music, and just be with people who love me for me and forget about everything else for a week. I woke up today feeling better than I did yesterday. We had a bad storm last night, so I am cleaning up my yard, doing laundry, and I plan on going to my parents' house in a bit to help my dad with yard work. Then we're going to grill some steaks and hang out in their pool for a bit. Yay, sounds weird. I am excited to hang out with my parents, but they are like my best friends outside of a few buddies. Since I've been going through this, I spend my Sundays with my parents, and I've really grown to appreciate them and our relationship a lot recently. As for the gym, I have been going but don't seem to be hitting it as hard as I should. My very best friend used to be a personal trainer, so we made plans for me to train with him next week to get a good routine going. I am pretty excited about that. I have lost 30 pounds during all of this, and now I need to bulk up. I am looking too skinny right now, even though I'm finally getting my appetite back. I don't know exactly what I'm going to tell her Monday, but I know I want to let her know that yes, I still love her, and if things were to go the right direction for both of us, I would reconcile, but I'm also telling her that I don't see nor have I heard anything from her to indicate that she wants that. So, basically, I am going to tell her that I'm tired of being in this limbo state and I'm ready to move forward for myself. I am not pulling the divorce trigger yet, but I want her to realize that I'm done sitting around waiting when she isn't giving me any hope for positive signs. I have not heard anything from her since I sent her the text early last week asking about when we can talk. Lately, that is how it is. It's me that has to initiate communication, and that's just not fair. I sent her a text an hour ago asking if we are still on for tomorrow, and she has not replied yet. Well, I just got off the biggest emotional roller coaster in town. My wife just left our house. There was anger, crying, and a little bit of laughing. I am going to try and not make this post too long. The conversation started out with small talk about what each other has been up to. Then I started asking the real questions. I told her that I am tired of living in this limbo state. I asked her to be completely honest about where she stands with wanting kids in the future and if she is 100% wanting to leave the country to work abroad after med school. She said she isn't 100% sure about kids and her isn't 100% sure if she wants to leave after school to work abroad. I then brought up the fact that I'm not happy right now and that I'm to the point where I feel like we need to make a decision in the near future regarding divorce or trying to work on our marriage. She cried. This was really the first time I've said the divorce word to her. She said again that she still loves me, and I told her that I still love her. But we both agreed that the past couple years haven't been good. Neither of us have been very happy. I talked about how she is the one who left. She is the one who turned down marriage counseling. She is the one who took her ring off and wanted to live like she was single and didn't have ties to anyone. She told me how she has been doing great in school, but outside of school she is crumbling like I have. But she knows how to hide it better than I do. We talked about how she is too quick to hide her true feelings and how that affected our relationship and how it affects other relationships she has with friends and family. She says she is working on that. I then asked her flat out, "What do you want to do?" She said, like I expected, "I really don't know." All the while tears are rolling down her cheeks. I stayed strong and said again that I cannot keep living like this. I need to start moving forward with my life, whether that is with her or without her. But not in those exact words. That's when I think it really sank in. She looked up and said, "Okay, I want to try marriage counseling." I asked her why. She said because if we end up getting divorced, she will regret it for the rest of her life, knowing that I wanted to try counseling and she didn't. I then asked her what she would say if the counselor asked her if she wanted to reconcile, and she said her answer would be, "I don't know. It depends on a lot of things." I accepted that answer and was ready to move on, but then she asked me the same thing. I mustered up the courage and said, "I don't know if I want to reconcile. It will take a lot of changes and work for that to happen, but I do know that I have it in me to give it this one last shot, even if it is only a few sessions with a counselor." She looked at me like I was a different person. It was like me being brutally honest with her right then made her look at me different, but in a good way. So, the conversation ended with me calling the counselor tomorrow and letting my wife know what his schedule looks like. She then packed up a small bag of clothes because she starts her new office job at the school tomorrow and needed work clothes. I am leaving out a lot of our 2-hour-long conversation, but I think I've captured all the big things. After she left, I don't feel happy or sad. I'm sort of relieved because I was honest with her and showed finally that I'm done waiting around, and I think she finally sees that. I know that for us to truly reconcile it will take a lot of work and change on both ends, but I feel good about how strong I was. Before she left, she started crying a little again and said it was because she wanted so bad to choose the easy route and just stay home and get back into living our life, but she just can't get herself to do that. A month ago, I would have dropped to my knees begging her to stay, but I'm stronger now, and I know just her coming home is not the answer if there even is one for us. Overall, I think she has more thinking to do than I. She needs to truly grasp reality with what she sees as these fantasy options for her future. I'm not putting this all on her, but even she admitted tonight that she is the one who changed since we got married, not me. I don't know. I guess we have one more tiny glimmer of hope, but I'm not all that positive this marriage counseling will really get us back on track. I'm just respecting the fact that she brought this up and wants to do it. Maybe it shows me that this marriage did mean something to her, even if it doesn't work out in the end. We are communicating more this week since our talk. She actually has initiated the contact for once. Just because this is happening, I'm not going to jump into her arms and beg her to come home. We both talked about how much needs to change before we even cross the idea of her coming home. Why would she just throw up her arms after all this and say, screw it, I'm coming home, or let's spend 4th of July together, when she knows very well we have a lot of work to do? I am not putting myself in the position I was in 2 months ago ever again. My biggest fear about her coming home is being in this same spot 3 years from now when she finishes school. Like I keep saying, I'm still figuring out what I want and what exactly I think needs to change to make this work. Maybe I'm going at this all wrong, but I'm finally thinking about myself and my own happiness. I don't want to get back to that dark place I was in 2 months ago. We've been together for a total of almost 11 years. What is 2 months? Nothing. This marriage means too much to me to cycle myself back into our twisted negative web of a marriage without really working on our issues. I got myself in a terrible situation last night. Drank way too much. My tolerance seems to have gone down since my college years. This is not an excuse by any means, but alcohol certainly played a role in putting myself in the position last night. Towards the end of the party, the neighbor girl kissed me. I'm not going to lie and say I didn't kiss back at all, but it lasted 2 seconds, and I stopped her and told her that I am going through a lot right now and cannot be doing this. Yes, she initiated the kiss, but I'm the idiot who allowed it to happen. I should have never drunk that much and should have never paid attention to her, knowing that she had already acted like she had a thing for me. Nothing inside of me wants any type of relationship with this girl, and the stupid kiss made me realize that even if I file for divorce next week or tomorrow, it doesn't matter. I am nowhere near ready to date. I know I'm going to get a lot of heat on here, especially considering that my wife and I decided to try MC in a couple weeks before we go the divorce route. But my wife continues to avoid me, takes forever to even respond to my text messages, and just gives me short responses. She still wants to go on without us wearing our rings. She still seems as if she is happy on her own right now. I'm very conflicted and confused. I think the stupid kiss from last night has really made me think about why my wife even wants to try MC. I guess part of me thought that after she said that she wanted to try MC, she would start coming around or contacting me more. That didn't happen. She went to the lake this weekend and wouldn't even tell me who she was with. She replied to my text after about 3 hours and just said went with some friends. Here's another wrench to throw into the mix that I've been struggling with and was unsure about posting it on my thread. I'm still checking phone records for my wife's cell phone. She has been texting a guy pretty much every single day, all times of the day and night. But I haven't seen one phone call between them on the phone records, only text messages. I found the guy on Facebook, never heard of him. I think he looks like he is not in the same league as my wife, but there still seems to be something going on. Having said that, do you think my subconscious last night was making me seem single because I don't know what my wife is up to and I'm seeing bad signs on her phone records? Yes, the girl initiated the kiss, but I really feel like I could have avoided that situation, and my guilt is out of this world today. I feel like a scumbag. I've been sitting here playing the victim role this whole time, then I put myself in a position like that last night, knowing very well that the neighbor girl had been acting like she had a thing for me. 2 huge steps back, and it's ruining me. I know one of my weaknesses during our marriage was me settling, and I guess you can say being the boring spouse, whereas she is always looking for bigger and better things. I will be journaling more this week when I'm on vacation. I'm hoping a lot more will come to the surface in my mind and heart. This sucks, but I know I'm strong enough to get through, but only if I stay true and honest with myself and make better decisions like laying off the booze. My comment, is OP learning to move forward, or he is just spinning in circles? We will find out in part 3.